thoughts on the recent elections in the US and the emergence of President Trump? How do you think everything played out?
Well, I think two things come to mind in the American election. Number one is that, contrary to what a lot of analysts were thinking, it wasn't a tight race. Donald Trump won a very clear, outstanding majority. That's a home run. He won the majority of popular votes. He won the electoral votes, and he has a majority in parliament. So really, he won clearly. That is contrary to what a lot of people were thinking. Even some of his supporters thought he would be tight. He ended up winning tight. The other thing is that he won not from the center, he won from the extreme, as it were, good or bad. But he didn't win by saying, I'm going to be nice to everybody. He won by saying, I'm going to be tough on these people, I'm going to help this one. So it's a very, clear mandate, a very radical choice he has made. So if you link his program to his, and by the way, he won against celebrities, Hollywood, the so-called good people. He won against all those people. So it's a very peculiar kind of victory, but it's a clear victory. So if you link his mandate, i.e., popular vote, electoral vote, and the parliament to his program, what we should expect from him is that he can do anything. He at least he can attempt to do a lot of things, and he has demonstrated it in 1 week in office by rolling out those executive orders. So that gives you an insight. I think Trump is going to, as much as possible, become a president of legacy. He's going to do things that others have not dared. He's going to simplify things. He's going to do it. The only thing is, when you go into those policy, what kind of legacy is he going to create? Before we go to the kind of legacy, it is important to identify the kind of person, politics, and statesman Trump is going to be. Trump is a very personal person. He's a very human, touchy-feely person. He's more personal than state or institution. So what that means is that we're going to see more of the person, the persona, the personality Trump, and less of the American president that is institution. Of course, he's still going to wear his black or blue suit and perhaps a white or light blue shirt. But he's a showman and he's a man, and that's going to affect all his policies. So he's going to do things other people have not thought of doing. Like, for example, his birthrights. He's going to dare to do those kind of things. Whether you like him, because I know we must assume that millions of people like him. Unless you tell me the American election was rigged, we have to agree that majority of American voters like him. So whether you like or loathe him, we must admit that what defines Trump is his personal taste, and he's not defined by the traditional virtues of kindness, of being nice, of promising to help the weak. Trump is you have the might, go for it. You're not lucky, well, life is tough. You're lucky, get all the kind you can. Well, if you're not lucky to be born here, well, good luck to you. He's very clear about that. He's not the kind of, let's be humble, let's be humane, let's help the poor, let's be generous. He's not all that. So, and people have agreed that that is a way to be. So we should expect that to come out from everything he does.
And I want to ask you, how does this sit with the general view of the white Americans and the black Americans? The white Americans are supposed to be, people of that. Is it playing to that?
Well, I think,
or is it a product of that?
Well, it's both a product and it's both a creation and a creator of both. But we should be very clear about one thing. A lot of people make this mistake of thinking that Trump got his vote from white America alone. Let me tell you something. Nobody can rule America by getting votes from only one sector. Trump got his vote from a lot of black people as well. Maybe not the majority, but he did very well across sectors. Trump did well from white and black people. I mean, obviously, let me say something. I believe that not every Trump voter is a racist, but I believe every racist voted Trump. So you can see that, and I want our viewers to think about that and readers think about that. But here's the thing: there are some people who are not racist that voted Trump because of the following 4 or 5 reasons. One, they like the strong man to be in charge, and Trump comes across as that person. Biden was definitely weak. When Kamala Harris came up, she tried to be the strong man, not even woman. She tried to be the strong man, but Trump came out as the strong man. Because Kamala Harris had the burden of still trying to be nice. So the strongman syndrome, people went for it. Another thing is the social issue. It appears the Democrats have become what we call the radical chic. They try to rule by saying women's rights, abortion, gender rights, equality rights. And why that might be noble or might be futuristic, they miss out the fact that there are people who are afraid that their children are losing their natural gender identity, who would like their children to be male or female. They lose out that there are millions of people who believe that being gay is a sin. They believe that there are millions of people who are struggling with their own identity and they're still managing to be male or female, and there's a rule out there allowing them to be exposed. They're forgetting that there's a lot of people who are trapped in bad marriage. And if you now tell them that it is easy to just walk out of it and do what you like, they despise the people who are free. And they don't want it to be that way. So we've talked about the strongman issue, and there is the social issue. There is also the economic issue. There's a lot of people who voted Trump because under Trump, they bought their first house. Under Trump, the economy was better. Under Trump, business was blowing, and then this administration came out and the prices of food has gone up. A lot has gone up. So there's that, economic issue as well. Then there are I think that's the fifth group now. There's a fifth group of my house, my rules. I'm an American citizen, and I want a government that's going to be tough on non-Americans. And here's the interesting thing: it doesn't matter if I'm American just last week. It doesn't matter because I was just lucky to be born here. Maybe my parents even just were tourists. They gave back to me and they don't live there. The key thing is that I'm American, you are not. And Trump gives them a chance to feel superior to the other people, and they hold on to that. Barack Obama, in his first comment, talked about people who cling to their guns and their Bible. They exist. People clinging to their guns and their Bible exist. And that is, there are people, I've been in America, I've noticed some people, there are people in America that all they have is a citizenship in their life. So they're very proud of it. And that is one thing. So they look at themselves that, even if I'm a nobody, but I'm still American. So those people are going to protect those things. And Trump played to that, and those people exist, and that is how he got his vote. And among those people, there are white, black, Latino, a bit of everybody's there. It is wrong to those who analyze to think it's a white vote. Maybe majority, but it did cut across. And outside America, there are people in my country, Nigeria, that are supporting Trump. There are people against him. So Trump just has that effect to look around. So it is not correct to say it's a white vote.
What do you make of this? His favorite phrase. How do we turn America back to
make America great
again? Yeah.
I think it's a fascinating trait, but it's not an original phrase. Okay. People. I speak like a scholar because I study these things. It did not start with Trump. It's not. It is a good phrase. It's a fascinating phrase, but there's nothing original about it. Reagan used the phrase. Other people used it before Trump. But we must also understand that above all, there is no person, whether good or bad, including Nigerian leaders, including Zimbabwean leaders, including Hungarian leaders, that have stood up to say, I want my country to be weak. Everybody wants their country to be great. So Everybody wants their country to be first, to be as great as possible. At least they say so. It now depends on what they do and how they do it. Therein lies the rub, as Shakespeare would say. It all depends on what they do and how they do it. You might want your country to be great, but if all of a sudden, because of whatever you're doing, whatever your intention, all of a sudden the whole country is very hungry, you have not made it great. Your intention might be good. So I think people focus too much on what he's saying. It's a good slogan, change, hope. They're all great slogans, but history will judge at the end of it all.
And I was also going to ask, what does the margin of Trump mean or say to the whole theory of leadership and all of that? Because it's like it's provided a new
dimension to it.
Yes, and I'm wondering, is it something that scholars would want
Well,
to examine or something?
You see, unlike people, the mass media or the general public, scholars are very clear that Trump is not the first to come this way. We've had Berlusconi in Italy, we've had Peron, we've had different kind of attempts. It's been seen before, and we've seen how we started and how we ended. Although history will always have its own variation of it. So the rich man that comes macho, charming, charismatic, and forceful is not a new thing in history. So it's just a whip, and it's a gamble that Trump has won because he laid out all his cards. I think that is where his geniality comes in, because he laid out his cards, took a gamble, he won. Mind you, cheeky or not, we might think about it. When Trump was running that election, he had two options: become president or go to jail. So you can see why he will push it to the last, and he's done it. I don't advise aspiring leaders to take that route. It's a bit risky. They might win it, but if we, and this, I speak to young people, this segment, I speak directly to young people. When you plan your life, don't plan it on exceptions. Don't plan it around extreme things. Don't plan your life thinking you might win the lottery. Yes, you might win it, but don't plan your whole life based on that. Don't plan your life based on miracles. Yes, they do happen, but when you plan your life, try to plan your life on normal things. To know that if I study, I pass. If I prepare well for interview, I get a job. If I propose something, I will sell it. Plan it on simple, straightforward things. So the same thing for leadership. I don't advise leaders to build around the model of Trump. It's a very dangerous model if they want to win. But it might, because don't forget that Trump won. But before Trump, we've had far right people, we've had far left people. They haven't won. Le Pen has been there for decades. He never won until he went away, and he's been doing far right. So the people like Trump are exceptional once in a while. So you can't build on that.
And the question many Nigerians are asking is, what have you gained from the Trump president? What do you think?
Well, if the question, there are two questions Nigeria, Africa, and the rest of the world can be asking. They can be asking what is going to happen or what are we going to gain. Those questions can be answered understanding the person of Trump. Number one, Trump doesn't care about climate change, about the weak, about unilateralism, about collaboration, about global war. No, that is not his outlook. That's what is going to happen. He wants peace that will not disturb business. If the war is going to promote business, he doesn't care about that kind of war. That's the thing. Trump, we said, is also a very personal kind of person. So he would be friendly to countries that have leaders that he likes. So because he doesn't care about a lot of those things, and he's talking about tariffs, he's talking about pulling out of the WHO, World Health Organization. He's talking about pulling out of the Paris Accord for climate. That means that the rest of the world, Nigeria, Africa, and everybody else, has to start thinking, what can we do without Trump? Then if they have the gumption, what can we do against Trump? But it's enough to just think, what can we do without it? If you're reliant on it, because if you're reliant on aid, just because you're poor, it's not going to give you. It will give you because either he likes you or you can provide something for him. So, from Trump era, it's going to be the ability they're forced to look inwards and build themselves. They have to think in terms of, and then came a Pharaoh that did not know Joseph, or a child that lived with a bad stepmom that does not give you food the way she gives to her own children. So you're now forced to roll up your sleeves and think in terms of reliance and alternative to Trump, self-reliance and alternative to Trump. And if they're people bold enough, I mean, look at China. You just go and lead the AI, the technology, and boom, you create chaos in the market. It will force people to look inwards and build on things. Um, I've been to some events where I see people pitching for business, and for example, a lot of people pitching are always talking about sustainability of energy. Trump doesn't care about that. In the new era, you like kill the environment. As long as you bring the bacon to the bread. So that is expectations and reaction. I think African leaders, for example, because I see you are going to that part, have two choices to make. It's either they suck up, to allow me that to Trump, and they are lucky he likes it. Because mind you might be trying to get Trump's attention. If he doesn't like it, it's a waste of time. So it's either they look up to him and treat him and become his friend, and they get a whole lot of goodie if they're lucky, or they just think regardless of him, let's focus on building ourselves.
How about the, how
I'll
about
go
the
for the second.
okay? How about the issue of immigrants? What do you think? I think it's quite clear on that.
Well, it's quite clear. I think anybody who's staying in an immigrant's house should start clearing the room because he or she might come back soon. If anybody, our viewers, if you have family members who are in the United States and you think they might be illegal or they might have committed any crime, you better repair their car because they might come home to take it, clear their rooms and stop depending on whatever they send you, at least for now, because they might be on their way back. And if they're lucky, they won't come back.
But what's his own logic for wanting immigrants to leave?
Well, his own logic is part of the 5 factors we stated, because he has created a constituency that wants to believe that immigrants are taking their jobs, we used to marry their husbands, or marry their wives, but now even marry their husbands. So there's some women who want immigrants to go so they can get the men. There are some men who want immigrants to go so they can keep the woman. Some people are doing for their jobs, some people are doing for their businesses. Some people say, if there are no immigrants, we can earn more. Immigrants are taking our jobs. Immigrants are putting a strain on our health service. Immigrants are corrupting our country with their culture. I have seen some Americans who have told me that one of the things they like Trump about is that they look at their country and all of a sudden it's full of people wearing hijabs. Because I really took my time to listen to the voters to get a feel of why. I think the work I did. I think that's why they were doing this interview. I spoke to close to 500 voters, to get a feel of what is going on, real knowledge. So so for that reason, yes, he will be tough on immigrants.
From your research,
Yeah.
you knew that he was going to win the election. But were you so clear about it before the
No, I wasn't so clear, but I knew it was very possible. I knew, contrary to what a lot of my colleagues were saying, I knew he had a strong chance. I thought it was going to be, up to the very last moment, I thought it was going to be tight. It was towards the end that I realized this thing is not going to be tight again. And I must say, publicly, I wasn't happy about it. I didn't want him to win, but I saw. So that when people say, "Are you supporting Trump?" I said, "No, I'm just telling you reality that this man has the votes, and now that he has won, I'm pointing out reality that he has the mandate." I think there's a problem for non-analysts when they talk. For a lot of people out there, when they talk about politics, they tend to confuse what you want with what you see. I ask people who's going to win, and they tell me who they want to win. I say, no, that's not the question. Regardless of what you want, I guess perhaps I'm used to supporting people who do not win elections. So it means nothing to me.
let me take the discussion a bit away from Trump now. We're talking about scholarship and all of that.
Yeah.
Have you also observed maybe major shifts from what it was before now in terms of just the example you gave now, dealing with people who are sentimental about the analysis? They look at things from their own perspective and how this shapes the various decisions that we see.
I think Trump, and I'm very technical, not to insult. Trump is a very self-centered person. He's a narcissist. He likes attention. He likes to shine, but he also likes to be liked, and he likes to win, and that affects all his views. And he sees people who do not agree with him as enemies. He doesn't hate them. He doesn't. So let's look at it this way. Trump, from my distance profiling of him, it's not like he goes out to hate people, because that he doesn't like anybody that does not like him or does not like him to achieve what he wants to achieve. So the moment he doesn't like you, he calls you names and he looks down on you. So, he will see the moment you disagree with a known soldier, he says he's an okay soldier. His mindset is very pedestrian and very childish. So he moves directly to insult rather than rhetorics. So, he plays it down. He does a lot about, well, I don't know, he's ugly. He says it like somebody's short. That's the way he deals with matters. So to that extent, everything he does is about what he likes and what he doesn't like. But the good thing is that also because he's very self-centered and very goal-focused, if you insult him yesterday and today you say he's good and he thinks you can let him achieve what he wants to achieve, he will take you on. E.g., his running mate now vice president. I mean, J.D. Vance said the worst things about him in the world. But the moment you agree with him, he's fine. Just come on board. Especially while he needs you. Maybe not as president, he won't. He might not be so magnanimous. But if he needs you, regardless of what yesterday, if he needs you today, he'll be fine. So that's the kind of thing we're dealing with Trump, yes.
Let's talk about Nigeria. How do you see the institutional things? What's your perspective to the Nigerian situation?
Generally or regarding Trump?
Regarding Trump.
Well, I think Nigeria has a lot of vibrant business people, from very small to very big. And I think if they position themselves well, it might be to take advantage of the Trump thing. Because actually, Trump represents a lot of things that Nigerians are used to, especially the bad thing. I want Nigerians to imagine Trump as the average driver in Lagos. That will give you an idea of people who are very selfish, who don't care about the law, they just want to get to where they want to get to. And if people are used to dealing with that kind of situation, they will be fine with Trump, as long as they're not immigrants. Because as long as he says he doesn't want immigrants, if you can send your money there, he'll take it. So the rich Nigerians will be fine. I feel sorry for the poor Nigerians because they have little to offer him. But the rich Nigerians might be fine. And I think our politics as well. I think of all presidents that we can have, the best president for Nigeria to deal with somebody like Trump is actually President Tinubu. They have a lot in common. And I think, in terms of getting the deal done, President Tinubu can deal with that. He's not the man that will have quabs on some kind of ideologies. He's a very practical, pragmatic person that sees what he wants, goes for it, and manages. So to that extent, those who are okay in Nigeria have little to fear. The people who have something to fear about Trump, are just poor people who are planning to immigrate, or people who are so obsessed with climate change, or people who believe that it is good to help the weak. People who believe in the old traditional virtues, the noble virtues are what makes it good. But mind you, I know a lot of people who believe in those values of Jesus Christ voted Trump. I think they voted him because he's anti-gay and anti-abortion. They didn't care that he's been convicted, he's a liar, he deals with fraud, he has issue with women. I think those things don't matter. So in a way, it might be right. Nigerians will start changing their mind when they start deporting their loved ones, their families. And maybe with the dollars that was coming there, stops coming from there. But if there's a case of out of evil comes good. If we are able to look at this door that is shot on Nigeria and Nigerians decide reliance. Let's go for it. It might be good for Nigeria and the rest of the world, but it's going to be tough. Good in the end, maybe, but definitely tough.
What would be your advice to foreign policy formulators in terms of what should be the official response?
Well, I think we should mind our business. we should avoid we should avoid interfering in anything that can make America. Trump wants to make America great, so we should be careful not to make Trump mad, not to upset America. We should just go on our lane. Don't stand on any principle thing. Just mind our business. See where we can take advantage of any possibility there. But we should also, above all, be self-reliant. But we can also think of a plan B. Because with all this that Trump is doing, Trump he might just provoke some countries to create an alternative to using dollars. You see, when he does all these things, people forget that, when you're in a glass house, you have to be careful. You can't be acting like a bull in a glass house. Because if he keeps pushing this, some countries might get together and say, look, why is America so important? You break it down. Why is America so important? The first thing, because most parts of the world use the dollar. So if the owner of the dollar is treating us badly, a good thought would be, let's go and use something else. And for the first time in about 50 years in America, there's a possibility that an American president might turn Europe to his enemy. Because normally the alliance has been USA, UK, Europe. It's been a natural alliance. But with Trump going against most of the things that Europeans stand for, Europeans might just think, why not make the euro strong? Why not the world starting using the euro? So all of a sudden, there's a possible competition from dollar, from euro, and from the Chinese yen. And if Russia plays its card right, it might be able to forge a new alliance in the world. But the point here is the dynamic is different. It's a peculiar, complex one because while the traditional alliance of the UK, US, Europe is not there, Trump is also friends with Russia. And contrary to what people say, he can easily make friends with China if he sees that he needs them. So that makes the equation more complex than one would imagine. But those are, you say, if I was sitting in a strategic session with some leaders in the world, these are the kind of thoughts I'll put in their head that why don't we change this card a bit? Let's, it's a bit like basketball or football, any kind of game. It's okay. Let's change our settings and let's see what will happen. Let's change our strategy and let's see what can happen. Those are thoughts that might affect one. If it starts to touch people's interest, then at some point, don't be surprised that people start reacting to it.
Let's talk about sales. How's it been running the ministry? How many years now?
Well, sales is going for a while. So in the past, I think I can't remember 3-4 years, we've become from being the Center for International Advanced and Professional Studies, we've become the Commonwealth Institute of Advanced and Professional. What we've done is that we've done a federation of centers across about 52 countries, all English-speaking countries in the world, the Commonwealth, including the USA and Canada. So at the moment, what we have is that if you have a CF certificate, it is recognized in over 52 countries. And we're working actively to get our graduates to be able to work in those countries, do business there, and get partnerships across this country. So CF is moving from just being a place of acquiring knowledge and getting certificate to a center that actually empowers people in terms of projects, business, ideas, and scholarly collaboration. So it's very normal, for example, if you do any of our courses at the Commonwealth Institute, some of your lecturers will come from different countries across the world, and you in turn will be able to interact with fellow students from across the world, and you'll be able to work with them. So, and a lot of it is hybrid now, a lot on online, and a few things physically. But we have physical meetings every month. We meet, but a lot of the things are doing online. that is the advantage of letting people study where they wish from any part of the world, and they spend less traveling up and down. But people who want to go to any country can still go. Those facilities are there.
Looking back at when you started, uh, how far were you able to achieve the set goals in terms of what you wanted for the organization at that time?
Well, I think when we came to Nigeria, part of what we wanted to do was to train some group of professionals that can make impact in their field and can dominate. And I think a lot has been done, more can be done. But at the moment, I'm happy to say that we have students in graduate of CAPS in the Senate, in the House of Rep. We have graduate of CAPS in ministerial appointments, in councils, in parastatals, and we have them in leading businesses in various sectors, from education to aviation to health to law. Yes, so I think it's a good story. The people who are affiliated to CAPS know the benefits in terms of getting the right skills, internationally recognized certificates, a network of professionals, and support to boost their career and indeed their projects.
So basically, those who are interested need to familiarize themselves with the programs and all of that, and then
But yes, the easiest way to do is just to go to the website. If you Google it, if you Google a profession, if you go to our website, which is ciaps.org, you go there, you decide what profession do I want to do, where do I want to do it, and how do I want to do it. And that helps you. Those kind of reasons. It doesn't matter if you're starting your career, or you want to change your present career, or you want to consolidate your present career, but that helps a lot.